Hey everyone, this is Ron, and back for another edition for the Hog's Ear Report. I'd like to pick up where I left off on my first video, and I'd like to talk about US psych bands that only had one album. And I kind of like to revisit that first video a little bit. I reviewed an album that I just didn't do it justice, and I kind of want to pull it out again and talk about it a little bit more and give it the respect that it deserves. And that is the Baroques. In case you guys don't know this album, it's pretty high up on the psych totem pole. Highly sought after, revered psych. And there's three distinct styles. There's some real trippy stuff, you know, with weird vocals, psychedelic guitar, Eastern vibe, distortion. There's a couple of folky cuts, and then there's some like downer pop psych. Overall, just a really good album, and I highly recommend it. It's a tough one to score. Originals are real tough. I don't even know if any reissues have been floating around. I don't remember ever seeing one. But if you're lucky enough to score this album, I know you're going to really enjoy it. So do yourself a favor and get the Baroques. This is Friend Sound, and the name of the album is Joyride. Friend Sound was an experiment by the Brotherhood, and the Brotherhood were a spin-off band out of the Raiders. And it's basically instrumental, but there is some vocal, you know, people talking. There's some soundscape stuff, you know, like children playing, traffic noises, that kind of stuff. Really good background music LP. There's reissues of this on eBay, and I highly recommend that you get this. It's on RCA, Orange Label, 1969, and yep, going to get. This is The Head Shop, and it's on Epic, 1969. This has got some pretty trippy psych on it. It's marred by a couple of cover versions, but other than that, you know, I really like it. And it was produced by Milan, who was also known as the Leather Boy. And he produced some, he actually released some singles under those names. They were early psych singles, and you can check those out on YouTube. They're quite good. And you can definitely tell his influence on the LP. There's actually a couple of guys here that they look like twin brothers, man, so that's kind of unusual. And then there's this Florida guy on the front. That's actually a real shrunken head on there. And you know, I feel sorry for the poor devil. Here he went and he got his head shrunk, and then some bunch of hippies threw his picture on an album cover. I mean, what a way to go. This is the other half, and this was Randy Holden's band, and this is just a killer heavy garage psych album, man. I just love this. And I went to the Randy Holden website, and it said that this album was actually recorded in late '66, but it wasn't released till early '68. So there was some delay on getting this bad boy out. And it's on the Acta label, and there's a song on here, Feathered Fish, which Randy brought into the group with him. He had done it earlier in his other band, the Sons of Adam. And that song is actually written by Arthur Lee of Love, and it's just, his signature sound is all over it. It's just a really cool garage rocker. And I really wish Love had done it, because I could just imagine them doing it, man. It would just been awesome. But man, the other half, it's a good one. Here's another real good one. It's the Savage Resurrection. And this is one of the better heavy guitar psych albums. It's on Mercury, 1968. and I believe they are a California band, and it's marred by a blues jam, but other than that, man, it's just a really good album. And I remember in the 1990s, there was a rumor going around that Randy Holden was actually in this band under a disguised name. There is a guy in this band, his name was Randy Hammond, and he's right here. And kind of does look like Randy Holden, but that's just urban legend. It's definitely not him. But man, search this album out. It's a high buck LP. It's probably the best on the label. Well worth getting though. This is the Glass Family, and this is this real cool West Coast California psych. It's on the green Warner Brothers label, and the opening track, House of Glass, and that's just killer. And it's got like an old-timey song on it. There's a couple of weaker tracks, but I really like this album. It's pretty strong. So this is definitely one to search out. And it's the Glass Family Electric Band. There was another Glass Family in the 70s. I think they were like a disco band. Avoid that at all costs because it has nothing to do with this Glass Family. This is the Fluff, and they're on Verve, 1968. They were a Boston band. Excellent pop psych album, real strong. No weak tracks at all, really. And I really love the green slime cover on the front. And this guy right here, he's kind of like this nerd in the band. You know, he's got these horn rimmed glasses. And he's actually got the hinge taped up with tape. It's like, dude, couldn't you even take your glasses off for the picture or put some shades on or something? So for now on, he'll be immortalized on the Fluff cover wearing horn rimmed glasses with tape on them. And if you look at the back cover, he's wearing this real shabby three-piece suit. He looks like this scientist or something. I don't know what's with this guy, but the album itself is really cool. So yeah, this is a good one to get. Fluff. This is the United States of America, and I'm sure you guys probably know this LP. And I wanted to show it because this is the original outer bag sleeve. It has been reissued with the bag, but I just wanted to show this because it's the original. Yeah, all these albums that I am showing are original, as with my previous video. This is Joe Bird and the Field Hippies. This is actually kind of the second United States of America album. And the reason I wanted to show this is that I have a first pressing of it, and I wanted to make sure that you guys know what to look for when you're looking for a copy. It's on the Gray Masterworks label, and it's got the 360 sound banner at the bottom. And the second pressings will be on the Gray Masterworks label, but it will have some yellow writing and text around the outer perimeter of the label, so that signifies the second pressing. This is Mr. Flood's Party on Cotillion, 1969. They were a New York band, and this is just real good, likable, late night psych. Good pop production, harmonies. Just a real likable album. And it's got a nice glossy cover on the front, you know, kind of like the old 50s albums had. Mr. Flood's Party. This is the Millennium Begin on Columbia, 1968. And just excellent pop psych album. Kurt Bocher production. Co-produced by Keith Olsen from the Music Machine. In fact, there's 3 guys from the Music Machine that were involved with this project. Doug Rhodes and Ron Edgar and Keith Olsen. And there's a song on here that I really like. It's Karmic Dream Sequence #1. To me, it's the favorite track on here, and it's actually one of my all-time favorite psych pieces. Going to pick up, just excellent pop psych. And I also have the insert for that, in case any of you guys have never seen it. You'll know that if you ever go to buy this album, that it did have an insert. And it's just got a little artwork on it, and there's some credits, and you know, it's got like a little flap, nothing special, but maybe hard to find the insert. This is the Lollipop Shop on Uni. I believe it came out in '68. Just excellent punkadelic. There's 2 tracks on here that rule. You Must Be a Witch and Underground Railroad. The rest of the album is not up to that standard, but just pretty good punkadelic album, man. And Fred Cole's got some pretty unique vocals, and he was later in a band called Dead Moon, and they had the same manager as the Seeds, and he gave them the Lollipop Shop name. Their original name was the Weeds. Yeah, they were a Northwest band, and yeah, pretty excellent album. I got this in the late '80s, and I got it at Rockaway Records, and it's an excellent to near mint shape, and I found it in the bin for $18. I said 1-8 as in teen. I don't think they knew what it was. I mean, even then it was probably a $50 album. And yeah, what do they go for now, mint shape? 150, 175, something like that. But yeah, Lollipop Shop. And this is the Koala, and this is actually just like a second Lollipop Shop. It doesn't have the killer tracks that the Lollipop Shop has, but it's a pretty consistent, solid album, good punkadelic all the way through. And it's on Capitol, and I believe it was released in early '69 after the group had already broken up. And it's got a gatefold. And this guy right here, his name on the album is Lewis Kane, but Kane was not his actual real last name. He just chose that because it probably sounded as Australian. They were hyped as Australian, but they were actually out of New York. And interesting enough, when I got this album, it turned out to be autographed by Lewis. Let's see if I can get a shot of that. So it was a nice little bonus, you know. I didn't pay anything extra for the autograph, it was just there. So yeah, Koala, readily available on reissue, and good one to get. This is Neighborhood Children, and it's on Acta. They were an organ band. This has a real Frisco-y sound, like Airplane, male-female vocals. It's been reissued on Sundays, and this is a designated promo copy. And it has a stereo cover, but it's got a mono sticker, and the record itself is in mono. And I remember back in the day, man, in the 90s, I used to know a psych seller that every time he'd get a near mint copy for this, he could get like $175 for it. And I don't think that's true anymore. I think eBay has changed the market in general. Prices have leveled off. But yeah, this is a pretty good one to pick up, man. Neighborhood Children. This is the Id, and it's on RCA, 1967. And these guys were just basically a bunch of folkies that decided to do a psych album. And there's 2 killer cuts on here. Boil the Kettle Mother. I mean, that has got to be the greatest garage rocker instrumental of all time. It's just outstanding. And the other track is The Inner Sound of the Id. It's a 10-minute long piece that it's very atmospheric, like The End by The Doors. Real mystical sounding. My copy's mono, but it was available in stereo as well. And The Inner Sound of the Id. This is Chrysalis on the MGM label, 1968. Comes with a gatefold cover with a foil inner. This is just good late night soft psych, male-female vocals. And one of the band members on this album, his name was Spider. And if you look at the Mothers album, We're Only In It For The Money, Frank mentions Spider in the liner notes. And I think Frank knew Spider and knew of his band, and he was instrumental in getting them the record label deal on MGM. Good one to pick up, Chrysalis. This is Osmosis on RCA, 1970. This is kind of late jazzy psych, and I'm not really a jazz man, but I like this album. So I'm definitely going to recommend it. It's on the RCA Orange label, and the cover says printed in America, but I believe all the copies of the record were pressed in Canada. And I don't know the reason behind that. Perhaps it was more feasible with the album budget to do that, or perhaps the record plants were just busy with other LPs. But for whatever the reason, it's a Canadian pressing and a US cover. And going to pick up Osmosis. And this last one is The Children, Rebirth. And they were a Texas band. And this was originally issued on a small label, Cinema, and Atco picked it up. And it's got some heavy fuzz and rockers and some light stuff and male-female vocals. It's a pretty likable album, and it was produced by Leland Rogers, who you may know produced The Elevators, and also Leland was Kenny Rogers' brother. So this is a good one to pick up, The Children. Well guys, that about does it for this installment of the Hog's Ear Report. I've been thinking a lot about what I want to do, you know, and thinking of different themes. I'll probably do like a reissues site collection. I'll do some UK. I'll do some garage, you know. I got a lot of shit to show. Just keep posted, man, and I'll just keep making those videos every 5 days or whatever. And hope you're enjoying them. Hope you're learning something. And hey, man, if you know something about my records that I show, hey, lay it on me, man. I'm ready to learn. So until next time, be happy and enjoy life.